Tonight, our first look at Snyder Cut footage, a glimpse of Wonder Woman's Cheetah, and can you smell what The Rock is cooking on Comic Book Canon? Welcome to Comic Book Canon. We are back. It is Friday. We are here. We're going to talk pop culture. We're going to talk comic books. We're going to talk everything that we love about this beautiful hobby. And I am joined by my friend and co-host, Chris. Chris, how are you?
Woo! I'm ready. Ready
To do it. These weeks, they seem so long. However, when you and I get to this day, we are happy, excited, and energetic. And I cannot wait to get started. So why don't we just start digging into the news, shall we?
Absolutely. So first off, really cool and exciting. For those that have not seen it, you're going to see it here first. But we have a little clip of some footage from Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. Now, Jason Momoa was awesome enough to sprinkle a little sugar on us with a little clip that he shared on his Instagram. So guys, get ready and check this out.
The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it. Out in the dark, among the stars. Ding dong, the god is dead.
Oh, yeah. So, man, I was so into that. I had my popcorn and everything. But, I mean, guys, this is awesome. I mean, I was the one that when we first broke this news that I was like 4 years later, really. But, hey, I'm telling you, I mean, not much context here, right? We have Wonder Woman, like, in some kind of cave with some ancient, image of Darkseid with some writing and whatnot. And we have Lex Luthor's voice talking. But still, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, but Jeff. But I mean, like I said, I already got my popcorn ready. I'm ready for this.
Well, it may be stale because we could be a year out from it by that time. However, I am psyched. I mean, that thing hypes me up right there, and we get yet another glimpse of Darkseid. I am nothing but like goosebumps, and like it's like, where was this? Where was this tone? Where was this kind of like mystery that we had? Like, you and I, we have our opinion of what Justice League was. I'm excited for what it will be.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. And speaking of what things will be, we have a better understanding of what the certain Cheetah character will be in the next Wonder Woman movie. Jeff, you want to take us away with that?
That is correct. We got a nice little glimpse here of what our what Kristin Wiig is going to look like as Cheetah. We all know that Cheetah will be the main antagonist in Wonder Woman 1984. It was revealed this week from DCEU Updates. New look at Cheetah from a sticker pack for Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 1984 has been released. As you can see on the left-hand side, you got a nice little photo of Kristin Wiig. And what we decided to do here at Comic Book Canon is to zoom in with our wonderful technology to get even a closer look. I'm liking what I see here, Chris. I really do. Cheetah has had many iterations over the years since she's appeared, I'm liking where this is going. It's kind of a mix between the New 52 version and maybe Rebirth, where she literally looks like a cat. But I'm digging this look. I'm absolutely digging this look. Yeah.
I mean, it's one photo. I love the eyes, but so there's something there, obviously, and. For me, I'm not too concerned with how they're going to make the character look. It's how they're going to really bring this, Cheetah character to the realism of the DCEU. But I have faith. We have a good, strong actress behind the character. I love what the Wonder Woman franchise has done so far. So my fingers are crossed for something exciting here.
It is going to be interesting to see Kristin Wiig in this role. She's normally known for her comedy. I think she's done a couple dramas here and there, but I mean, Bridesmaids is absolutely hilarious. It's going to be interesting what her range is as an actress in terms of like a big blockbuster film.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
If it was
one other
Kevin
thing.
Feige behind it, we'd say, trust Kevin Feige. But are we able to trust what DC and Warner Brothers is doing at this point? That's the question.
We're not there. We're not there yet. I don't think we're there yet. However, it just also was announced that we are now moving from August to October, so the wait is going to be a little bit longer. Hopefully not. Hopefully the wait for this next character is not going to be that long, because we have some exciting news about a very popular character in the Marvel universe. What do we got, Chris?
Yeah. So we have news that Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel is still pushing forward. It was announced, I believe, last year that Kamala Khan was getting her own Disney Plus MCU show. Now, casting for the role of Kamala Khan was abruptly put on hold, obviously, because of the COVID-19 crisis. That is no longer an issue. Casting is a go. So they are looking to have somebody picked for the role to still try to stay on schedule with production. So production is supposed to start somewhere towards the end of summer. So fingers crossed that happens. Obviously, nothing is concrete, but to know that they're at least continuing their search to fill this character, it's exciting. To know that anything at this point is rolling and making steps forward, I think is exciting news.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty sure we are going to be seeing Falcon and Winter Soldier as well as WandaVision this year. So in addition to these other titles on Disney Plus, super excited for Miss Marvel, super excited for Moon Knight, super excited for She-Hulk. Those are things to really look forward to. And if they're going to start production by the end of this summer, it's looking very likely that we will have this on our TV screens by the end of 2021. And here's a hot take for you. I'm going to say that Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, is going to be just as popular as Miles Morales' Spider-Man. I think these are fresh new takes on older characters, and they're done right. And I really would love to see her just blow up and become just kind of mainstream.
Yeah, it speaks volume. Marvel's first Muslim character, front runner, superhero at least. And it's similar to Miles. She takes the name of somebody that's well known, but she has basically her own powers and her own style, and it is fresh. If you look at the sales of her first appearance, Captain Marvel issue number 14, I mean it's up there. There's not hype as much as Miles Morales right now currently, but I think you're onto something. I think both of these characters are concrete in terms of how long they will last, and I don't see them going anywhere. So, but speaking of concrete, what is solid as a rock? We got some news that's as concrete as a rock here.
Yeah, we do actually. It's looking like as most people know, we have DC Fandom coming on August the 22nd. Super exciting. We're gonna have a Suicide Squad panel, an Aquaman panel. Zack Snyder will be there too. Hopefully, we'll see some more footage from the Snyder Cut. But the most interesting nugget of information that we do have is that The Rock, yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he announced that he will be at DC Fandom this year. That is quite exciting for most of us, as he tweeted out this picture, this Boss Logic picture that's synonymous now with Black Adam. And he says, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. I will be joining the epic and first of its kind DC Fandom on August the 22nd. This one is for you, the fans. Hashtag Black Adam. I love this. Don't you, Chris?
Yeah. We've been talking about positive things with the DCEU the last few weeks on the show, and I love this guy, Dwayne Johnson. He seems to be an awesome human being. I love all the roles that he's played, whether it's wacky, funny, silly. I just feel like he can't do any wrong, and I think he's gonna really propel this character. And it's a shining light to the fact that there's light at the end of the tunnel for Warner Brothers here with the DCEU. I mean, there's so many things lined up that should really have the fans happy and feeling positive about the future. And pairing this with what DC is doing, you know, to bring that similar to what San Diego Comic-Con is doing to showcase these you know, announcements and bring it to us in a way to where we can use you know, multimedia to have a real-time viewing of this of these announcements and whatnot. And it's just, you know, it's positive all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get maybe. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Comic-Con. Nobody does. I hope it's not a watered-down version. I hope we get some exciting news from there. But there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. This here is going to give us more nuggets, more juice, more substance to just sink our teeth into and be excited about, especially during this hard time that everybody's enduring. So I'm psyched, especially for a guy like, you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, somebody of his caliber, to be taking on a character who is not an A-lister by no means, but I think it's somebody that they're going to bring. It's going to bring more credit and credence to, and more interest into the DCEU. You're going to have all these people that are just the Rock fans, and they're going to come and check that out. And it's going to expand the universe even more. And I really, as you and I say, almost every episode we say, we want DCEU movies to do well, because that means the whole genre is going to do well. We don't like it when these DCEU movies fail. There have been some stinkers from DC, right? But we are on board. We want to make it happen. We're fans, and again, super excited about this. We're probably going to see some really cool stuff in about 2 months.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just want to add to your point about, you know, this not really being a big character. And we saw what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, these are, unless you were diehard reading the comic books, a lot of people didn't know who Guardians of the Galaxy were. The first film was a huge hit. It's one of my favorite MCU films. And, you know, it just shows what a good you know, actor plus a creative team can do with these movies, and I have absolute faith for it.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Super excited, as we all should be. Now, there's something we should have been very excited about from the Star Wars films, Chris. Why don't you explain that to us?
Yeah. Well, you know, I talk about this all the time. I talk about this on my channel. I'm such a big Star Wars fan, and we all know that this latest trilogy has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And one character that I thought fell short in this trilogy was Adam Driver's Kylo Ren, especially with what happened in The Last Jedi when Luke was able to tell Rey, you know, this is why Kylo went to the dark side, which was a very brief, well, I saw something evil in him. I crept in his tent while he slept the night and tried to strike him down and kill him. He woke up, saw it, and went to the dark side, right? Not very feasible. Where's the context? I think Adam Driver felt the same way too, because in a recent interview, Adam Driver did talk about when he was filming for these films, he had a backstory in his head about what happened to young Kylo Ren. A lot of this was issues around his parents. We do see in the films that, you know, obviously he ended up, spoiler alert, 5 years later, he kills his father. You know, he's torn between his relationship with his mother. And Kylo Ren talked about the fact that he took in energy to portray Ben's Kylo character as holding a lot of resentment towards his parents, Han and Leia, because when he was little, they were too focused on being heroes, trying to save the galaxy. So, you know, I know that at this point, there's nothing to be done with these films. They're done ultimately, but to be able to hear from the actor himself kind of add this context, I think it can really help people kind of, you know, release some of that, you know, negative tension that they've been building up, wanting more. So I was extremely happy to hear this from him, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are ways to maybe get this backstory as well. I'm not a huge fan of the prequel trilogies. However, it really helped and boosted the whole the Clone War story. Helped and boosted those from 2 to 3. It really was it really enhanced the whole overarching story. And I think that, you know, with all the meetings that we have these days, we can absolutely have a Kylo Ren backstory, whether it be animated or a Disney Plus show. Like, we can absolutely have that, and that's something to be excited about. And I think him saying this, him putting this out there, is only going to get speculation and fans wanting to hear more, because of what it is pretty divisive, these last three trilogies. But man, you get something like this, it just adds on to it. And I see that as a win for everybody.
Absolutely. And we know that Disney is all about making money wherever they can, whether it's in the novels or the comic books or the animated TV shows. And, you know, I think a lot of us thought we saw the last of Hayden Christensen. Well, technically we saw the last of Hayden Christensen at the end of Revenge of the Sith, but we still saw Hayden's Anakin show up in the Clone Wars. So if we can have a rendition of a younger Kylo Ren in an animated series, I am absolutely 100% for it, because I want to know more. I want context. But on that note, you know, we haven't heard the last of someone's story in terms of behind the scene, and this individual did so much for a franchise. He's going to come back a little longer, but it might be the last. Jeff, what do you got there on that?
Yeah, that's right. So we all know the controversy going on with James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. He moved on to Suicide Squad when he got fired by Marvel, but Marvel brought him back. And I think that was the right move, because he is a guy that is super talented, has really left his mark on the MCU. He's definitely doing Volume 3, and I do believe it's coming out in 2022. However, he teased that this is probably as he says, this is probably my last one, ... but you never know. He's putting it out there that this could be his last one. On top of that, potentially it will be a new team if there is a Volume 4. Now, here's the deal with this. I love James Gunn. I love what he's done with, again, what Chris said earlier in this episode is basically, you know, bring this IP, this property to the mainstream. People didn't know anything about these guys, but now everybody knows Groot, everybody knows Drax, everybody knows Star-Lord, everybody knows Gamora, et cetera, et cetera. And I think he has absolutely left his mark. But I will not have a problem if he leaves and they bring another director in to kind of continue telling the story of this team. You have members coming in and out with the Avengers. If you read the comic books, Justice League, all of these teams have different members at different times. I'm going to be okay to go in a different direction. But on another note, I would love to see James Gunn continue on in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is good. You know, it keeps things fresh, and Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios knows how to do this. They want to keep things fresh. It's nothing sour towards James Gunn, but you know, let's see where this can go. Let's not stagnate on something. You know, I think too often people think that, oh, well, this formula works, let's just keep recreating it, and then it goes stale. So I think Marvel Studios is making the right decision if this is the case. And like you said, I could absolutely see James Gunn coming back some years down the line, doing something else for Marvel Studios with some different characters. You know, let him go off and make some other movies. It's just like the actors. You know, I know Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have expressed the fact that once you dedicate yourself to a role for so many years, it's not that you know you have a bad taste in your mouth about what you've done, but you want to explore more. And I think that's probably what James Gunn wants to do. He probably had a lot of fun with the Suicide Squad, and I hope for the best success for him there. But I see nothing negative with this. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. I do hope, you know, maybe you give him like 5 years, 6 years off or something, and then when you have a whole new lineup of characters, give him a phone call and say, hey, what you up to?
I don't want to wait that long, okay? But I think we're on the same page here, other than it being 5 or 6 years down the road. Okay, speaking of down the road, we have the NBA potentially starting at the end of July. I'm excited. I'm a Sixers fan. Would love to see there's going to be an asterisk for whoever wins the title. That's something to be said for another day, maybe even another show. I don't know if that belongs in this show. What does belong in this show is the possibility of NBA players getting an early sneak preview, something all of us fans really deserve to see. So, Chris, just what's going on?
All right. I'm going to tell you guys straight up. Now, first off, I'm a huge basketball fan. I even, I'm going to go on my little rant here because, you know, I've been a starving student raising kids, and I haven't had a lot of opportunity to go do some real fancy things with my family. But, you know, earlier in the year, I said, I'm going to take my kids to a Kings game, you know, and cop those tickets online for spring break. And I let my kids know everyone's excited. And then darn COVID happens, right? Nobody can, nobody's fault. games canceled and all this. So I am so happy that the NBA in some form or fashion is getting back up and running. And as you alluded to there, it will be all in Orlando. It's going to be extremely limited. I won't go into the details of that, but here's the thing. Being in Orlando, Walt Disney World has reached out to them, and all the players and their families are going to be staying at the resorts in Walt Disney World. But with this, all these players and family members get the perk of being able to see Black Widow before all of us. And honestly, I am not happy about this. Why do I care that these multi-millionaire basketball players get to sit up in top suite Walt Disney World lounges and watch a movie that we measly little meek people have been waiting months for? I mean, come on. Where's the logic in that? And seriously, it's like they're dangling the candy in front of the kids and pulling it from them and handing it to the adults, and the adults are sitting there chopping on their chocolate goodies, throwing it in the face, saying, oh my gosh, this is so good, and you can't have any. I don't get it whatsoever. I am not a fan of this move. I'm not.
I'm with you. I am 100% with you. This is absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, I don't trust these guys. These guys are going to have a lot of downtime. They're going to have their phones in their hand. They're going to be on the Twitters. They're going to be on the Instagrams. Who is it, LaShawn McCoy that spoiled the end of Endgame? Like, what? The spoilers are going to be out there. You let the NBA players in there, they're going to be out there. But that's beside the fact. These guys, I mean, some of them are true fans. Some of them are true diehard comic book fans like we are. And they're not any less deserving of seeing it than we are. But we're not any less deserving of seeing it at the same time than they are. So come on.
Yeah. And you know too, I don't understand it as a PR stunt. I don't understand it as a marketing move, because they're not paying. This is all given to them for free. It's free showings. And I don't see, like myself as a fan, it rubs me the wrong way. I don't see fans particularly looking at this is something that's going to wind up their gears in a positive way. My gears are grinding right now in a bad way with no oil, so it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I do like that analogy. I think it's time to move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore, okay?
I know, right?
But it grinds my gears without oil. Is that what you said, without oil?
Yes.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. That's not good for gears. That's not good for you. But, okay, so that's the news for this week. Now we have our Spec World here, where we go through the top 10 hottest comic books of the week based on cover prices data that they aggregate each week. What we like to do here is we like to go through the top 10 issues with you, but we like to get down and dirty into why these are in the top 10. So right now we are just going to bring up these top 10 issues right here. And at number 10, we have Bitterroot, the cover B variant Prince, Purple Rain, outstanding cover. Superman 14, the recalled version. Ultimate Fallout, number 4, the second print Pacelli variant. That's number 8. Number 7, Something is Killing the Children, number 7 from Boom Studios. Number 6 is Spider-Man number 1, Miles Morales. It's the Miles Morales 2016 run, the Adi Granov hip-hop variant, Nas Illmatic, classic album. Number 5 is Ultimate Fallout 4, the first printing, which was hot last week. I think we had 3 different covers. So that's the highest that we have in Ultimate Fallout. Number 4 is Legion of the Superheroes, the Alex Garner variant, first appearance of Gold Lantern and the new Dr. Fate. Number 3 is Batman number 92, Punchline. We all know what's going on with that. Number 2 is Snowblind, number 1 by Boom Studios. And number 1 is Legion of Superheroes, first true appearance of Gold Lantern, and the new Dr. Fate. So, Chris, this is where we like to get into it. You like to get your hands dirty and discuss some of these issues, why they're in the top 10, because it changes each week. That's what makes this segment so exciting. That's what gets my gears grinding. That's called a callback in the comedy world. But Chris, give us a little bit of dirt. Why are these issues in here? Let's go.
You know what? I love the variety in the top 10 this week because I think it really speaks to some of the naysayers out there that tend to focus on the negative things that they feel are going on in the comic book industry right now. So we're breaking this down into three categories, and one is independent books, and we had 3 independent books, 2 from Boom Studios, 1 from Image. And I just think it goes to show that indie books do not get talked about quite enough. There is such a huge market for indie books. These are the Boom Studios, Something That's Killing Children, and The Bitter Root. Those are new releases. So that means people went out this week and bought them right off the shelves. Now Snowblind, though, that's picking up steam again because, actually a few years back, they were supposed to do a Fox property TV show on Snowblind. Now they are in works, looking to get a contract with a studio to do a feature film starring Jake Gyllenhaal. So, obviously there's movie speculation around that, but regardless, I just think this is an amazing show that, look, comic books are healthy, especially in the indie world. So go guys, go check out your indie books, support some indie publishers. That's what I got to say on that note. Now, the second talking piece is a really interesting point because we all know that Miles Morales has been so freaking hot. We talked about it last week. All 3, the first printing, the second printing variant of Ultimate Fallout 4 were on the top 10 list. This week, it's only 2, but I'm going to explain something about these books. Now, this goes to the other thing about so many people naysaying Miles Morales, saying, this is manipulation of the market because his book has gone up so much in value. You guys have watched this book the last couple of weeks. We're seeing 9.8s go for $1,000. But here's the thing. You would say, well, if that's the case, if this book is that hot, why isn't it at number 1? And I'm going to explain something. People make the argument that no modern book should ever go for $1,000 because they're not rare. And I'm going to tell you guys a real quick understanding of supply and demand. Now, supply and demand is the basic structure of what brings something value or creates value for something, right? When demand is greater than supply, that price is going to increase inevitably. Now, this book had a 73,000 print run, UF4, right? So when you think 73,000, yeah, that's a lot less than, say, in the heyday of the 90s when they were printing, 1 or 2 million copies of X-Men 1s and X-Force number 1s. But still, it's a lot of books, and people are keeping them in good condition these days. Nobody's folding them and putting them in their back pockets to go share with their kids and whatnot. Okay, I get that. But keep this in mind. 73,000 issues still isn't extremely high. Plus, the reason why it's not at number 1 most likely is because people are buying this book to keep in their collection. And the main thing that we need to understand about supply when it comes to supply and demand on the market, supply doesn't mean there's 73,000 books available within the supply. I'm going to use the housing market as an example. If there's 73,000 houses in the San Francisco area, which is booming right now because of the Silicon Valley and people wanting to live there. If there's 73,000 houses, but 60,000 of them are occupied, what is your supply? 13,000. That means there's a slimmer picking of availability. So I can guarantee you that at least one reason of why this book isn't at number 1 is because it's not a fresh off the shelf with that many issues available in the supply chain. So again, I'm going to say it one more time. Jeff, I'll let you come in and share your thoughts. This book is not number 1 merely because people are holding on to this book, okay? People are buying it and holding on. And actually, the reason why it's not number 1, because there's such a small supply, actually correlates with what drove the value of this book up so high in the first place.
You painted the picture so perfectly. You should be teaching a class. You should be teaching a class on economics because supply and demand is what it's all about. And I couldn't lay it out any better. This guy is not going he's not going away. He's going to be in the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. He's going to be in the hottest game of of the year when it's released. Is it this year or next year? The PlayStation Spider-Man game.
Most likely this fall, yeah.
I mean, come on. Are we really going to think that he will not make an MCU debut, or Sony won't want to produce a live-action film? This guy is not going away. He's not going to go away. And you are so right. That is well put. Well put.
Yeah. So I think it gives context. When we look at these top 10 lists, sometimes we really need to understand context. So, but with that said, we'll move on because there is one more book. Actually, this book was in 2 spots because the variant cover was there, which means, again, if this is a fresh book, new release, covers A and B were in the top 10, and that's Legion of Superheroes. First appearance. What is it? Legion of Superheroes number 6, I believe, right? First appearance of the Gold Lantern and a new Dr. Fate. And again, this ties into what I was saying in the beginning about the diversity of what we have on our top 10. Again, there's that argument, right? Nobody buys new comic books. New comic books are all over this top 10 list, and I think that's an amazing thing. And Legion, I did buy the first 3 issues of this. I didn't buy this book, and I might be shooting myself in the foot. But hey, I know it's got first appearances, and obviously that's always going to make a book hotter. Even when I was a kid, and people my age were kids, anytime there was a first appearance of Venom or a Carnage or so forth, we're going out and wanting to speculate on that book, whether it's because we just want to read about the character or because we think there's going to be some monetary gain involved. But regardless to say, we have an awesome DC book introducing a new character, Gold Lantern. There's been a lot of talk about Gold Lantern, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. And then obviously a character like Dr. Fate that's been around a long time, but we have a new identity for a new Dr. Fate. So real interesting stuff. My son is a big fan of Legion of Superheroes, so I have nothing negative to say with this top 10 list this week.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it nail on the head. It's a very diverse top 10. I love how much it just changed out from last. I mean, the last few weeks have really been Spider-Man heavy. Not a problem. I'm a diehard Spider-Man fan, but it's nice to see, especially these indies getting their light, getting the light, day in the sun kind of a thing, because they're gonna be in TV series and films as well, and they have been. A lot of people don't realize a lot of these, even like Green Mile, for example, is based off of a graphic novel. So this is just great, again, for the industry that we truly love. I love doing this segment each week. The top 10 list, you nailed it. I mean, again, you should be teaching an economics course. However, you could also be teaching other courses and schooling other people too, because you had an interesting, how shall we put it, interesting encounters with a lot of fans these days. A lot of the hobby that we love it's very, very divisive at times. People they have their opinions. They're on one side or the other. People are not coming together, seeing other points of view, things like that. You could say that about a lot of things in our society today, but it's really prevalent in today's culture. On top of that, being anonymous online or not being in front of somebody, it leads people to give internet courage. I would say liquid courage is like when you drink and you kind of spout some stuff off. This is giving other people different types of courage. So Chris, you got the popcorn out. Why don't you tell us a story?
I got it out again.
All right. I mean, everybody, sit back, relax. You're gonna enjoy this story. Here we go.
All right, guys. So, many of you who know me and watch our show here, maybe you guys watch my channel. I'm all about positivity. I'm all about the love for this hobby. My MO is, collect what you're passionate about, and that there is no wrong or right way to collect comic books, right? But let me tell you guys something. There is a wrong and right way to behave as human beings. And not to sound holier than thou, but it's unfathomable how much dog crap is being thrown when it comes to talking points and topics that surround geek culture and comic books. It's so unnecessary. So I'm going to present this like this. First and foremost, I'm heavily involved in online forums. Obviously, I have my YouTube channel, and I like to utilize the platform for the hobby I love. I use Facebook and whatnot. I'm in multiple groups in Facebook that are comic book and geek culture related, with thousands of, 20,000 in a group, 60,000 in a group, where a lot of us have access to public forums, right? And in the height of everything that was going on these last couple of weeks with Miles Morales, I took my background in business and economics and, you know, presented myself into forums, into threads and conversations, just sharing my perspective positively and respectfully, of course. And unfortunately, not only did it allow people to chime in negatively on the threads, but I ended up getting some private messages in my Facebook email or, you know, instant message folder. We're going to go ahead and bring some up here, and you know, just to put some things in context, here's an individual. This gentleman here is older than me, and decides to just troll me saying F you multiple times. I don't know if you guys can actually read me in the blue, but I'm just saying, excuse me, how old are we? F you again, and so forth. So, you know, it's just grown men behaving in such a manner. And, you know, this guy didn't get past the F you, so he didn't have much of an argument or anything. So what's the point? And then I had another individual come and share their thoughts with me, calling me little man. And then I'm just questioning, who are you trying to prove something to? Because it sure ain't me. He says he was going on about I don't teach crap because he was stating on a forum that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm actually an English and language arts teacher for elementary school students. So, ironically, and this is the funny thing, and I'm gonna start trolling these fools back. And I usually don't get to this level, but my fair warning to you guys: don't mess with strangers on the internet. Oh, look at this. Go inject some heroin. How amazing is that? Listen, guys. Listen. I'm going to say two things here. I'm going to put this dude on blast. I was politely in a debate in one of these groups talking about Miles Morales, right? And I said, you continue to inject your argument. And he comes back and says, ha ha ha, it's interjection, by the way. Maybe you need a dictionary. And I say, sir, interjection means to abruptly interrupt. Have you ever heard of argument injection? Have you ever studied law? Well, I have. And he just kept going on. So we kept shooting himself in the foot. Jeff, do we have something else to pull up on screen here from this individual? Okay, guys, I'm going to say something right here. And I usually don't like to get out of character. I'm not from around these parts, man. I grew up in a harsh environment, okay? Who I was 20 years ago was a lot different than who I am now. I'm not saying that to sound like a badass or to sound cool, okay? But just because I like geek culture and I like comic books doesn't give you the right to think that you know me or you could talk to me a certain way. And this is the problem, and I'm going to get back into that. This guy's still coming at me. I'm 239 pounds of F you in the mouth anytime, buddy. And then he says, I'll use you as a tampon, nerd. First off, you just shot yourself in the foot again, because the fact that you need tampons, I'm sorry that you're on your monthly due, but really, like, man, you might have to go to the store to get those tampons to work for you. Because, I mean, seriously though, but moving on, let me tell you something. Everyone watching, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I grew up in Richmond, California. I seen cold, cooked dope cut up on comic books, baggied up, and these dudes reading comic books hustle outside selling crack to kids. All right? Just because you read comic books don't mean anything. So before you get your courage juice up online, thinking that you can get into it with someone on a comic book forum or get into their inbox like this next individual did, I'll cut your face. I'm not even going to say the next. Give me your address, fanboy. After I cut you, you're going to have a lazy eye. And then he shows this. What do we got next? Do you guys see what this is? A pocket knife. This dude threatens me, wants my address with a pocket knife. Do you guys know the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight? And again, I'm not implementing anything there. I'm not stating anything. I'm just asking a question. Y'all can take it and leave it. But I'm sure you all know that saying. You're going to come at a stranger online and threaten them with a pocket knife? Guys, you know what I ask people that get the courage like this to come at strangers? You know what I say to them? Do you have children? Do you have children? Because of 2 reasons. One, do you want your children acting this way? That's the one thing. If your children saw you acting like a schoolyard childish bully, sitting in the comfort of your own home or your mama's basement, you know, sitting behind the comfort of your screen and the safety of your screen, do you have children, and would you appreciate them seeing you like that or acting in that same manner? The second reason why I ask them if they have children is because you are coming at a stranger that you don't know. Okay? What if I gave that, or what if I was someone else and that individual threatening you with a pocket knife came at you and said, what's your address? And you gave it to them. And they show up and they don't have a knife, but they got a pistol. And before you can even get out of your car, they start shooting at you. And you got kids at home and now they're fatherless. And now I'm getting real serious, right? We're supposed to be talking about comic books here, but I'm getting real serious. Because believe me, let me tell you something. I posted in the projects of Hunters Point. I don't know if any of you know Hunters Point, San Francisco. Okay? That's straight hood. People from Hunters Point, from the hood, don't go to other parts of Hunters Point in the hood because they know how bad it is. There's routes that you take. I had a young friend that was 18 years old at a time. He found a cell phone at a bus stop. Somebody called the phone and said, that's my phone. And he said, okay, I'm at this location. And they came to his location. They put a bullet in his head over a cell phone. So yeah, I got real serious here. Because guess what? I haven't even touched on how all of these issues started from real ignorance and prejudice over a character. Maybe because of the color of his skin, or maybe just because people are ignorant. Who knows? I haven't even touched on how disgusting that is. But let alone, I want everyone to learn a lesson. You are not safe behind a screen. And you are not a badass. And don't mistake who strangers are that you are talking to and engaging with. Because believe me, look, I got kids. You guys don't see this part of me. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to come back. Now I'm Journo again. All right? But my advice to all of you guys, it's not worth it. It is not worth it to act in this manner in so many ways. We have to be better people. We have to be better human beings. If we are parents, we have to be better role models for our children. And what kind of world are we living in where what we are supposed to love and collect and enjoy together is something that we hoard, pun intended, hoard to ourselves just to push everyone else out so we can sit on some kind of throne that doesn't even exist. So with that being said, guys, I hope, you know, look, it's I'm not a victim here because people were in my inbox. I mean, I think it's funny. The true victim is the community. The true victim is the hobby that we love, because this stuff has no place in it whatsoever. We need to continue to freaking look ourselves in the mirror and just start acting right. I mean, that's all I can say about that.
Chris, first off, nobody deserves those kinds of comments over opinions about characters. You guys can disagree. You guys can try to prove your point, but to be threatened with a pocket knife, there's a whole bunch of ignorance, a whole bunch of stupidity going on there, and that is, I'm sorry, you had to deal with that, and there are a ton of people online that have to deal with that as well. It's a lot of brave people behind computer screens that just don't know. So
I want to say one more thing too.
Go for
because
it.
You know, another thing when you're talking about, you know, these are strangers, you don't know who you're talking to, and I use a prime example of grown men that could be dangerous. I mean, you could be putting yourself in danger for no reason. But what about kids? You know, I just found out that one of my good viewers, Cody, is the same age as my son. And I started, I've communicated with him. I actually did a live stream where he showed up, and not, face to face, but in the comments. He was commenting on one of my videos, and I thought he was being cynical. And I said, whoa, hold on. Yo, are you attacking me? Because it's, let's talk about this. And it ended up that he wasn't being cynical. We talked it through, and this guy supports my channel, and he always leaves his feedback, and we don't necessarily always agree. I follow him on Instagram. This kid is the same age as my son, and I didn't know that, because we don't get that sometimes when we're just looking at a profile picture that might not even have a real picture in it, and then we're just reading words on the screen, right? What if these guys did this to a young 14 or 15-year-old? We don't know. For one, it could turn them off from the hobby, which we don't want. But for two, that's bullying. That is real life bullying. And I have a childhood friend as an adult that hung himself because of depression. Okay. A friend that my kids played baseball with hung himself at the age of 12 because of depression. And it's just, you don't know who you're talking to. And if it happens to be a young kid that grown men start taking this tone with, it's just like, that breaks my heart. And if something so bad God forbid, but it's not worth it whatsoever.
100%. And it's like we live in a day and an age where divisiveness is driving everything these days, and arguments are driving everything. And I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, and we are not going to agree at all. And it gets to the point of just attacking, and it needs to stop. Like, there is humor in what you were dealing with, but there is no humor in the bullying, because you can handle it. And the stupidity in some of those comments is just the stupidity, the ignorance, and the hypocrisy. Ridiculous. I think we're going to end it on that note, though. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. I hope everybody kind of has an understanding of what can happen in this forum right here, and because we do have a wonderful community. We do have something we all share, which is the love of these comic books, pop culture, this geek culture. We just love it. So that's what we all have in common, and we have more in common than we don't. So with that, we're gonna go. I don't know if there's a good segue here, but we're going to go to Q&A. So we got a few.
How do we lighten the mood back up here?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We're going to pivot here. Isaac Maynard, thank you so much for watching us each week. He says he's so excited, and he really hopes that they can get to play Dark Side. Oh, that Dark Side is played well. I mean,
right.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Granted, we haven't had that money shot yet of Dark Side. But I think it will be coming rather soon. Zack Snyder is working on a trailer. I guarantee you that clip we saw earlier today was from the trailer, and I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit more action. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, again, I've been a bit of a critic of Zack Snyder. I think his tone and his aesthetics, especially with CGI, is a bit dry and played out. And I think the DCEU, its vision should be way beyond Zack Snyder. But with that said, and I said it a few weeks ago, I think for this film, this Justice League film, I do feel Zack Snyder's vision should have been the vision for this film all along. And I am super excited. I do believe that I am going to enjoy this version much, much more than the theatrical release.
Yep, I agree too, because man, it can't get much worse than what the theatrical release was. Sorry, harsh, but yeah. Hey, Mr. Gretzky, we love seeing you. Hi guys, he says. We say hello. Mr. Gretzky 9966. That's 99 for Gretzky, 66 for Lemieux. Please clarify. Thank you. Isaac, again, do you think these Disney Plus shows are really going to succeed, or do you think it's just going to be a big bomb like Punisher is a dark show on a kids channel? No, I think these shows are going to succeed. I think you have Kevin Feige running this whole thing. Trust in Feige. He has there's probably 3 MCU movies that were subpar at worst. I really think that they know what they're doing. I really think they've been smart about everything that they've done, and I completely trust it. I cannot wait. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. we haven't seen anything MCU in episode form at this point. But just looking what Disney Plus did with the Mandalorian, you understand what they can do. And here's I'm going to use this as an example. I just rewatched Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit with Chris Pine. That came out about 6 years ago now, I believe it. And I was a fan of Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan growing up in Patriot Games and Fugitive and all that. But I just watched the Amazon Jack Ryan series with our good guy. What's his name? What's it?
Krasinski.
Yes. Who I hope we could see is Mr. Fantastic. But I mean, these shows, man, I love them from episode to episode, from season 1 and season 2. And then I went back and watched Shadow Recruit again as a 2-hour-long film, and I was just like, really? And the point that I'm getting at is these shows, especially with Disney Plus, they're going to have the big budgets. They're going to have blockbuster budgets. And just because you take that budget and put it into a formulaic 2-hour film doesn't necessarily make it better. Now, we already know that Kevin Feige does those blockbuster 2.5-hour films so magically well. Imagine what he can do in a 6 to 8 episode a series. I have no concern with what these series are going to look like, and I can't wait.
The only concern I have is how long are we gonna have to wait?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a taste of it this fall with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and followed by WandaVision. I think that's the order. All right, so my good buddy Adrian, I miss you. I miss seeing you in the office. The DCEU needs to succeed, and I hope they do. Yeah, man, we're all in the same club. We all want the same thing. It's got to succeed. We all love these characters. It's got to succeed. And that Harley Quinn film, I mean, they've had in the past 3 years, Chris, is this fair to say? In the past 3 years, they've had more successes than they've had failures. DC.
Yeah, well, let's see. When was Wonder Woman released? 2015?
Wonder Woman was released in 2017.
Wonder Woman. 16, because Justice League was 17.
Guess what? We have the World Wide Web here.
Yes.
And I will get back to you. Right. Finish your point while I look this up.
Well, I'm just saying, I think Wonder Woman was in the middle of it all. That was the gem in the middle of the disappointments. Because we saw, because 2015 was Batman v Superman, 2016 was Wonder Woman, and then 2017 was Justice League when they brought them all together, and then we saw Aquaman after that. Yes.
Wonder Woman was 2017. Sorry to burst your bubble. Wonder Woman was 2017. 2017. June 2nd, 2017.
Okay, when was Justice League?
That has to be 2018, right?
Oh, has it only been 2 years?
Yeah, so the past 3 years we've had that came out in October of 2017. So that was the same year.
Okay. So both 2017. Okay, That makes sense. Yeah, I knew we saw Wonder Woman before Justice League. So yeah, I think it's the 3 years outside of Justice League. So I think you're right, because Wonder Woman was that bright shining light. Then some months later we had Justice League that was just extremely disappointing. But we've had Aquaman, which I've talked about, outside of that first 5-minute introduction that I just thought was so cringeworthy. The entirety of the film was solid. I was so impressed. And then, even the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey film, it was decently entertaining. It wasn't extremely disappointing to me like Suicide Squad was. And then you have them thinking outside the box with a film like Joker. I hear you. Again, it's like the good thing about hitting rock bottom is that there's only one way, and that's up.
And honestly, I have faith. I think that they've learned their lesson, thinking, hey, if Marvel's doing it in a universe, it's got to be easy. We can do a universe too.
Right.
And it's not easy. But hopefully they're slowly getting there because they need to slowly get there. They cannot just rush it like they did before. So
absolutely.
That ends our Q&A. That ends our show. We really appreciate you all for joining us. Chris, how are you feeling about the show today? I thought it was fun, energetic, and we had a blast.
Absolutely. I know we had a lot of good things to talk about. We had some controversial things to talk about. I just hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And I really do hope, because I know sometimes getting deep, it can be heavy, right? Like Marty McFly used to say. But I just hope that everyone can take out of this just to remain positive, be good to yourself, and be good to everyone else. That's all I got to say.
Can't say it better than that. You can't end the show better than that. So thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, next Friday. Please enjoy your week. Please be safe, and please just love one another. I'm Jeff. He's Chris. Thank you all again. We'll see you next week.